What is up, fellow Trojans and loyal vassals? I am not dead. I feel the need to reiterate that. I've been consumed by this game called Battleborn. All day, every day. Anyways, that's besides the point. I've been getting slowly, but surely, quite a few figures over this past month. And I felt the need to express my opinion on some of them, and this is one of them. I guess you could say it's a fresh breath air after the lackluster performance of Mafex Meliodas from the Seven Deadly Sins. I did not like that figure. Mine was riddled with problems, sure, but overall I did not like the figure. But that's besides the point. That's not about this, that's not about that. I'm here to talk about this figure. And there's two things that I want to mention about this figure. One is her box. I normally don't show boxes because I don't feel they're not as important as a figure. But in this particular case, I think it's pretty interesting because if some of you old school Figma collectors may know, or some of you who may not know, Figma used to have boxes that were like very decked out and colorful and lots of different decals going on the box. But then I'm not sure exactly when they changed it. I want to say it was when they released their 100th Figma, which was I think it was Miko with the new showing off the new female 2.0 body, but I can't say for sure. However, once they changed the boxes to, rather than having fancy looking decorations on the box, they made it to just two solid colors, being black and whatever color that would match the character. And to show you an example, here, let me just move you aside. Here is some character that I don't really know or don't care for the figure anymore. You can see he has a two color motif, like the black, this part is black, and I can't really show you the whole box because the damn thing won't be in frame, but you get what I'm trying to say. It has two colors going on in the background where it's like a color coordinating with the figure, which this would be blue, and black for this entire bottom part. However, that's not the case for this figure's box, where it's, rather than black and color and whatever color coordinates with her, it actually matches her outfit, which would be I guess this would be teal, aqua blue or something like that, teal and white. Teal and white, which I think that's really cool. It reminds me, it has a very like minty flavor. That's what I think. It's not my favorite flavor, by the way, but it just reminds me of the taste of mint. Fresh breath air kind of thing. And a second thing that I want to point out. Now, again, I guess I should probably mention that I know nothing about this character or whatever series she's from. Aesthetically, she looked interesting, and I wanted to see what kind of articulation I can get out of her. It's all right, I'll just tell you that much. But what important, I didn't really know her name. Like when I pre-ordered her, it was just based off appearance and the name of the title, which was Paradise, Expelled from Paradise. However, her last name looks and sounds suspiciously like Balsack. I know that's a little immature. I apologize for my immaturity, but I mean, you can't really not make the connections. It's actually Angela Balzac, but that just looks like Balsack. I'm sorry, but I don't know. That made me laugh when I saw her name. It took me a good like 5 minutes to calm down, but that's funny. I don't know, immature funny. But that's just something I wanted to point out. So those are two interesting things. Well, specifically the box thing. That's pretty interesting. Now onto the figure. I guess one thing that I will say, she has probably the most detailed bangs or like front hairpiece that I've ever seen on a Figma. I don't think I've ever seen that many like strands of hair detailed. Like overall, the entire hair sculpt actually feels and looks different than what you'd expect from a typical Figma with long hair. Even the material, it doesn't feel like you're like, again, I guess this would only make sense if you collect Figmas, as long as I have, where the material of the hair, usually it's always the same on each figure, and the way it's molded and the way it looks, it kind of has like a familiarity. But this one, it's like just the entirety of the hair feels different and looks different. And even the bangs, like I said, I've never seen that many strands of hair on the bangs before. I think that's very interesting. Like, I guess that would be the highlight. Like, every time I look at her, like, that's a lot of strands of hair. That's very impressive. She has a very revealing outfit. She has no feet, by the way. That's very interesting. She has these little stiletto things, but she doesn't have any feet what to speak of. That's interesting. Again, I have no idea what this character is. So maybe she's some type of cyborg. I don't know. Excuse me. Excuse my ignorance. But yeah. Something I don't like, again, with most Figmas that have like I guess this kind of outfit where it like goes like down like that, is where they can't really get away with, I guess the articulation always has to be like this. Because I like to have midsection ab crunch kind of thing going on. But it wouldn't look good with a figure like this, the way it looks. But yeah, on to the articulation. I mean, not to glance over the presentation, but it's all right, you know. There's two basic colors, black, or I mean three. Black, white, and teal. Or whatever color you take that. It could be green. The lighting's not good, so you can't really tell. But it's alright, you know. In terms of articulation, I'm a little, I don't know. I don't want to say disappointed, but I mean, I should have expected it from the images. She's got nothing too out there in terms of articulation. It's pretty standard Figma flair that if you've seen once, then you've seen a million times. And she doesn't even have like I don't know, it's just pretty much basic stuff that you would see on a Figma. Nothing crazy. Her hair piece is actually, again, if you're a Figma collector, and you've known that most long-haired Figmas have this weird or usually long-haired Figmas have this weird thing where like let's say this would be like soft plastic and the joint would be inside the hair and you can move it like that, something like that. But in this case, it's actually like these ball joints right there with the little stars, or I guess they're not stars, X's. So there's kind of like a ball joint in there, or not kind of, it is a ball joint. And unfortunately, only this piece can actually go higher than this piece for some reason. That kind of sucks. Kind of like bothers me a little. See that? Doesn't want to go up as much as this. So that sucks. You know, if you're OCD, maybe that'll bother you a little bit if one is off compared to the other. But yeah, those are ball joints. She has a typical Figma joint at. Whoop, dropped her hair. Okay, where'd it go? Got it. She has your typical Figma joint at the head. See, that's pretty basic. That's your basic Figma head joint. Kind of wish, again, it had more like the, what's it called? Where it's pegged inwards, but instead of it being pegged into the hairpiece, is actually a ball joint. You know, that kind of thing. That would have made it a little bit more interesting. But, you know, keeping it safe with this figure. Can look quite a bit to the right and left because, again, these are on ball joints, so it doesn't really get in the way. Does not have the pull-out mechanic, unfortunately. This is your typical Figma ball joint inside the shoulder and pegged into the arm kind of thing. Typical stuff, single jointed Figma elbow. And the only thing new, I guess, would be the ball jointed peg thingamajig at the wrist. I think this is this is a separate piece. This little cufflink thing. There's that. She has a ball joint at the upper part of the body, which you cannot get much of a forward kind of crunch thing. That's pretty much all she can do. Side to side action, quite a bit. Not that much, but you know what? Whatever. And her legs is probably her greatest assets. Excuse the terrible joke, but the way it's molded is that her entire thigh area is like up into the ball joint is actually molded, so you can actually see some cheek action going on. It's a little perverted, I apologize. I guess that would be her second greatest feature, aside from the beautifully done hairpiece that I think is probably the highlight for me, the hairpiece and all that jazz. But then she does have molded butt cheeks. But that's besides the point. Moving on, before things get a little awkward. She can actually get quite a bit of a split. Look at that. That is impressive. I don't think she can get much forward in the means of, like, it's actually off to the side, so it's not actually forward. But there's that. She has a single jointed Figma knee. Nothing fancy. And her little actually stiletto things are actually on their own independent little hinge thing. I want to say, is it ball joint? It kind of looks like a ball joint, but I think it's just a hinge. And I guess that's, I'm not exactly sure what the purpose is, because it'll look kind of weird if you have it like that. I guess it's just if you have certain stances to have her balanced. I mean, even though you're going to have her on a stand, but I don't know. I think that's pretty interesting. But that's all in the form of articulation. You know, wait, whoa. Wait, what is this? Okay, for a second there, I thought there was a bicep swivel at the... Is it? No. No, it's not. I don't know. But there's that. Nothing too fancy in the terms of articulation. I don't know. I'm kind of having somewhat of a regret buying her, but not really, not as much as Meliodas, that's for sure. In fact, she also, in the promotional pics, she actually comes with this little robot, or she doesn't come with, but in the promotional pics, they had her displayed with this other robotic-looking thing. And it came separately, and I actually pre-ordered that separately at one point, but then at the very last minute, a couple of days ago, I decided, you know what? That's a lot of money. I don't really want the robot thing anyways. So I pretty much canceled that, so I just got her instead. And yeah, what she does come with, again, not that much, but it comes with your typical, well, I guess not typical, I don't think she, most Figmas, this, I think the only typical thing is these two arms. For some reason, every single Figma comes with these open palmed grasping hands. Well, I mean, I guess not for some reason, I guess it would be to display, if you have random assortment of accessories, you can have them holding stuff, but all Figmas usually come with at least these two pairs of hands where they can hold stuff, but she has quite a bit of other hands, open palmed, whatever this is, karate chopping hand, and a gun holding hand. There's that. She came with this little looking Minecraft-esque little thingamajig. Not having seen the series, I cannot say what this signifies. Kind of looks like her, sort of. I guess it is her. Which actually has her own little set of articulation, actually, where her head is kind of on a ball joint. That's kind of interesting. Even her arms, they're on ball joints. It's weird because she's square, so having ball joints on a square looking thing is kind of off. And then right there you can see the ball joint at her little feet. I don't know, that's very interesting. Kind of cute, actually. She also came with these two things to put together, which I already have on display with. Put your side there. She came with this hand. Or what? Did I just say hand? And I just dropped it. No, I meant to say gun. I don't know why I said hand. It's pretty. It's a pretty simplistic looking gun. There's like nothing going on. Nothing fancy. She came with 3 faces, but I say 2 overall because her second face kind of looks like this face and her default face. But she comes with this looking crying. Well, we're not focused. There you go. She comes with this crying face, or not crying face. This in discomfort face, sad face, whatever. Discomfort, I guess. I'd go with discomfort. And she comes with this face, which looks so much so, like I thought it was like kind of like a factory defect or something on mine, but this face looks exactly like that face in my opinion. Like, let's see if I can get these together. If you can kind of see, they look practically the same. The only difference is, I can already tell, if you can already tell, she's actually smiling a little bit more on this one, where this is like a small smile, she's grinning more in this one. That's kind of a cheap thing. I don't know. Not having seen the series or this character, I can't really say what other expressions she could have come with, but this is like a bit cheap if you ask me. It's like the same face, essentially the same face. She's already smiling in this face. Why not show her angry or something? I don't know. That's just a minor complaint on my end. Maybe if you're a fan of the series or the character, you'd probably complain more, but that's just something I noticed. Also, her stand is actually, you actually have 2 options of displaying her, where I have her clipped on with this little thing that she came with. This thing where you don't have to like poke a hole in her body. Did not sound right, but what I mean is, on her back of her, right here, this little piece right here, you can actually take off. See if I can see that? you can take that off and actually use the actual Figma stand to peg it in here, or use one of these things. You can just peg it in and then have it displayed like that. But I think it's a little bit more easier for me if I just use the clip that she came with. But there's that. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Doesn't come with anything else. I don't know if you're like because I don't know if I probably already said this before, but I have two criterias when it comes to figure collecting. Even with the characters that I know nothing of from whatever series, is you gotta have articulation and presentation. Those are the two requirements in order for me to decide whether or not I want to buy this figure. Any articulation is a little bit abysmal. I mean, it's typical stuff, and if anything, I would have liked it like I don't know. I guess there's nothing you could have done with this figure. If I probably would have just liked the ability to pull out the shoulders. But that's just me. That's my wish for every single Figma, to have that ability, to just have it so you can pull out the shoulder and have a little bit more freedom of movement in the shoulder. That's just my one wishful dream with all Figmas. Presentation's pretty, it's all right. Again, maybe if you're a fan of the figure, you'll probably appreciate this character more. But for me, I'd give it a C+. Not that that really matters, but that is everything. Miss Angela Balzac. Think this review's over. I can't really shake your head. Alright. I will see you guys later. Bye.